How you guys doing? I am Jay,
And I am Shar.
and we are here to have a candid conversation about an interesting subject matter that we care about very dearly. What is that subject matter, Shar?
Yes, I've been doing a lot of research, writing a lot of articles, and I can't seem to figure out why people are resistant to the idea of investing.
Wow.
So please help us if you have an answer, but we are about to dive deeper into this topic. Jay, what have you been seeing out there? Why don't people want to get involved?
Well, so far, I would say that you have a large amount of people out there who don't know how to actually get started.
Completely understand. People don't realize it's as easy as it is. It's as easy as shopping on Amazon, which most people do now.
Yeah.
But it's that easy. But because of the complex financial lingo that's been put out there, people are
Very
intimidated.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I would say also another issue is like people feel like to actually get set up with, say, stock investing, that it takes a lot. It's like a job or something. You know what I'm saying? Like people think that it's a event that they actually have to plan out, when it's actually not. You know, like as long as you have a cell phone and say like a bank account, you know, it takes about 5 minutes to start a brokerage account.
Yeah.
You know?
So investing, it can be done in 3 easy steps. Like you said, number one, open a brokerage account. There are many brokerage firms out there, such as Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and you even have your mobile based brokerage apps such as Robinhood. And hey, go down to the link below if you would like to get a free stock. You don't even put any money in to get your free stock. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're giving away free stocks to get you started.
Yeah, so open up your brokerage account, but do your research first. Check on the commission fees. Check on the training and education that's offered. Just make sure the brokerage firm caters to your needs, what you're looking for. Number two, do your research. Research all the stocks out there. There are thousands of stocks out there. People always ask us, oh, I'm ready to get started, but what's the next hot stock? Please recommend it to me. There is no next hot stock out there. There are multiple stocks out there. There are options. Just like with job. What's the next hot job out there? There are multiple jobs. It depends on your interest, what you're looking for. Some people are looking for growth. Some people are looking for income.
Yeah.
So you have to know what you want. Then think about it. What type of companies do you want to invest in? What are your values? And do you want to invest in a company that aligns with your value? Let's say you want to look into a high quality dividend paying stock. Well, you can look at what is that list called?
Oh, the Dividend Aristocrats.
Yep, Dividend Aristocrats, Dividend Kings. You can also look at the Dow 30 because they have a list of 30 top stocks that are paying dividends. That these stocks pay dividends as well.
The S&P 500 also.
And if you're looking for growth stocks, then you would look at different lists. But it all comes down to, hey, what are you looking for? What are your goals? You can't dismiss that from the equation when you're trying to figure out what you want to invest in.
Yeah, you know, and I'll just reiterate, like, it's not an extra task on your list. It's something that you can literally just sit down, pick up your phone while you're asleep, at a park, at lunch. It doesn't matter. It's not technically hard. It's very easy to like do it in a way.
Yeah, you know? And that brings us to the third point of why I think people are afraid of the investing world. It's because they don't want to lose all their money. So you'll read all these headlines saying, oh my gosh, he had millions and now he's sleeping in his car garage because he lost all his money in the stock market. Well, why would you put all your money in the stock market? Portfolio management is key. If you don't know how to do it, find a professional to help you manage all the assets in your portfolio.
Right. Or just like, I don't know, I believe in a way, become your own expert in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at what experts say, and then after that, do the work to do your own due diligence. It's simple. Like, it's Google. You know what I'm saying? Like, just Google stuff. Like, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, read it.
Yeah, education definitely decreases your level of risk. I feel like anything is risky when you don't know how it works, when you know absolutely nothing about it, and just dive in. So become more familiar with the stocks that you are looking at, so that you won't be taking on as big of a risk.
Yeah, and you know, how do you find stocks? You know, just like you always say, start with stuff that you actually buy.
Yeah.
You know, find out if those items are from a organization that is traded on the stock market. Start with that. You know, like, you already spend your hard-earned cash on these items. Why can't these items pay you back?
Yep. In my book, Dividends Are a Queen's Best Friend, I have you list out products that you use every day, and then I create a system for you to see if those stocks are publicly traded, and if they're giving dividends, and if they align with your values.
Right. I think that's a great idea. You know, don't create barriers for yourself.
Yes.
Right? You know, don't do that. And if people is scared about losing all the money, think about the other times throughout your day that you lose all your money anyway.
You
know what
willingly give up your money.
Right. That is losing
money.
It's
so funny. It is losing it, but people don't even think about it. Like, let's say, oh, this is a good one. Mm-hmm. People go to the store and they spend 7 cents for the grocery bags in Illinois, in Chicago,
right,
and they'll buy 10 bags every day. Think about how much that is.
Right.
And
that adds up.
You could have spent that money investing in the stock market.
Yeah.
So can you just say, oh, that's money that I lost? Nobody look at it because it's such a small amount.
Right.
But those small amounts
things add up.
But those small amounts can be reallocated, redirected to the stock market. You don't need millions to get started. You can actually use what you would have sent somewhere else and reallocate it to invest in stocks. That could make you money. You're now putting yourself in a position to earn income from your investments.
Yeah. And I think another issue is, like, people lack strategy.
Strategy, right? Yes.
And I'll give you a brief example, right? Like, how I choose stocks to invest in is, like, you know, a little bit interesting way, right? Mm-hmm. I'm what you call a macroeconomic stock investor, right? So I look at certain things in the whole economy to decide what stocks do I want for the long term, you know. And I think it's very key to understand stock investing and trading is not the same thing.
It's not.
It's not. No, it's not.
One is short term, one is long term. Trading is short term. Stock investing typically is long term.
Right. And I believe that you should first build your long term floor first, and then after that you can speculate all the time, right? As much as you want. It doesn't really matter because you have a base, right? Now, speaking to investment strategy, I remember during the whole 2008 crisis, mm-hmm. I didn't really see a lot of losses because of how I chose stocks. Prime example, I had a company who manufactured LCD screens, right? Mm-hmm. Common sense told me that LCD screens are used on cell phones. So I looked up who was this organization's top clients. And it was Apple and Samsung and just other cell phone companies, right? And so I thought, all right, okay, the holiday season is coming up, and these cell phone companies bring out cell phones all the time. So of course, they're going to order a lot more LCD screens. And so once they order all these screens, this company is gonna be bringing in a lot more cash. And once they bring in a lot more cash, their stock price is gonna go up. And so that's how I gain. You know,
interesting.
Like call it a common sense strategy or essay, strategic analysis, right? And then there's the other ways. You have fundamentals, you know, and you have technicals.
Yep, FA, fundamental analysis, and technical analysis.
Yeah.
As a CPA, I love fundamental analysis because we're using the fundamentals, the financial statement, to evaluate the value, profitability, the riskiness of a company.
Yeah, right. And that's good, especially for identifying I would say like dividend paying stocks.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, FA is really good for dividend paying stocks. Yes. Good stuff, Jay. Now, here is number one reason I think people do not invest. You ready for it?
Okay.
Student loan debt.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people get into unexpected amounts of student loan debt. It's one thing if you understand the financial aspects of student loan debt and you have a plan in place to pay it off, or you're using it for some other reason. If you have a plan, different story. But most people don't have a plan. People don't realize that going to college is the first business decision that most people will make. But how can you make a business decision like that without understanding finances? You cannot run a business without understanding your money, because if you don't, somebody will make a fool of you. And unfortunately, that's what we're seeing with student loan debt. People don't understand what they're signing up for. And instead of a short-term commitment, we end up seeing situations where people are taking on decades of debt. And so when you are so ingrained in a debt cycle, you can't even look up and breathe and see all the other opportunities that are out there. Only other opportunities you are looking for are quick income generating opportunities that require you to maybe trade in your time for money.
Yeah.
You don't see other sources such as passive income sources from investing because you're so stuck on the liabilities. It's tough. It's tough. I've written about this. I've done tons of research on this. So right now, 2019, we are facing a student loan crisis that's exceeding $1 trillion. And it's growing.
Yeah, and most of us we don't have $1 trillion in our pocket. Well,
No.
we don't have $400.
No, and so now since we see the problem, we've done the damage, we've done what we've done, we've accumulated this debt. So now what can we do going forward? Well, for our next generation, let's make sure we educate them about money before taking on such a huge task as going to college at 18 years old and having to fill out that intense paperwork. For a lot of people, it must be intense. I'm just not talking about the financial aid paperwork. I'm talking about all the paperwork during the entire life of the process. Don't leave that to chance. Have a plan in place. You know, there are scholarships out there, and I understand everybody cannot get a scholarship, but there are so many ways around it. But first, you have to think from a business standpoint. When you're going to college, you become the entrepreneur of your life at that point, of your career. And now you have to think about life from a different lens. Because I remember when I entered college, a lot of people was like, oh, what's the next party to go to? You know, they thinking about parties at night. Me? Heck no. I wanted those 4 years to count so that when I graduated from college, I could live my best life. But it wasn't just about me living my best life. I really wanted to make a difference in my community. I didn't want to just generate income. I wanted to make an impact. And for me, having time on my hands to do that was huge. I needed the time. In order to get that time, I couldn't be stuck in a situation where I traded in time for money. So I had to make those 4 years count. This is what I did. This is what I did in my 4 years. So I made sure I took classes during the summertime at a community college. Why? Because the classes are cheaper and it expedites my graduation process. A lot of people are taking 4, 5, 6 years to graduate. You don't even have to do that. You can chop it in half if you take summer classes. Summer classes are cheaper. You can also take more classes throughout the year. You can also position yourself to get profitable internships. Internships don't always have to be free
That's
labor.
a key conversation.
It doesn't always have to be free labor, and we can talk about that later. But you can get paid, and I was getting paid the equivalent of what a manager was getting paid when I was doing one of my internships. So it was really cool to get that money flowing into my account, thousands of dollars flowing into my account when I was in college. So yes, that did help me cover tuition costs. So there are so many ways around this, and that's a whole nother video in itself. But think about it. What does student loan debt do? It diminishes your saving and investing power. It diminishes your freedom to choose how you allocate your money.
It's a deep concept.
It is. And so
it's
true. That's why a lot of people are not thinking about investing, because they're on the liability side of the equation. But if we can move to the asset side of the equation, when you were thinking about accumulating assets, investing is like at the top of your list. Either investing in stocks, investing in real estate, you're investing in something because you understand the power of your money making money for you, even when you aren't doing the grunt work.
Right. And it's important. Because I would say, just like going to college, right? Investing brings you freedom, right?
Yes.
Like when people, when students, you're 18 years old, you've been living in your parents' household under their rules, and then you go to college, you have all this freedom. So just imagine you having freedom in your finances.
Yeah.
That's what stock investing and just investing in other asset classes does for you. It brings you freedom.
Yes. So educate yourself. Do not stop with your education in an institution. Do not limit your education to those four walls. Understand what's going on in the world around you. Understand what the teachers know. Don't limit your education. Don't limit your potential. Make sure you're constantly reading and exposing yourself to new experiences, new thoughts, new ideas, so that you can continuously expand who you are and what you're capable of doing. But I am so happy that you all joined us here. This is video 1 of why people don't invest.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be more of that.
There will be a lot more. So stay tuned, subscribe below, like,
share, comment, tell anybody.
Do it all, and let us know what you're thinking, and if you need help getting started. Also, check out Dividends, our Queen's Best Friend, on Amazon, so that you can get a step-by-step tutorial on how to earn income from your investments. It's not intimidating. It's really enjoyable. It's designed so that you can get started right now. All right?
All right, guys.